Scott Bessent with that was at one of these economic forums and talking to the CNBC host about the Trump economy, the one that sucks, the one that they keep lying to you and telling you is in a golden age, while at the same time, you don't have a job and also prices are skyrocketing. That economy. Scott Bessent tried floating his latest lie about inflation.
When I was on Squawk Box last week, Becky said, well, Susan Collins at the Boston Fed says this. And, that her people in her district are having an affordability problem. I should have said, well, she's in a red state. Affordability is worse. In a blue state, affordability is worse than a blue state.
We can debate that, but keep going.
No, there's no debate. The number 50 basis points higher inflation, the 10 highest, the inflation rates, they are in blue cities, but
Just so you know, because I went to look at this, this is the Joint Economic Committee, since 2021. The highest inflation of the past 4 years has been in red states, especially Florida.
I'm talking about current.
Current. Not over the past 4 years.
Right. Today.
Okay. I would think 4 years would be a reasonable trend line to look at.
Scott Bessent apparently has, zero awareness. And he doesn't mind apparently being embarrassed in front of everyone with this same lie about, inflation is peaking in only blue state areas. I'm sorry, blue cities and then blue states. What a ridiculous thing to say. What a dumbass he is. So when confronted with that lie, because it's pretty easy to dispel because he keeps telling it, he was called out and suddenly the story shifts to more reasons why his lie is somehow reality.
Today it is 50 basis points higher. So anyway, and look, the people are voting with their feet. I have the American people on my side. That New York, Illinois, California, Massachusetts are depopulating.
And they're going to places in Florida, like Florida, where interest rates inflation's up 22% over the last 4 years.
Well, inflation is up 25% nationally, so it's lower.
I believe in New York it was 19%.
Sorry?
I believe in New York it was 19%.
I don't think that's right.
We can go through the math.
But
Whoops. Fucked up again. Sorry about that. When he was again confronted with reality, was say what? What's that again?
I believe in New York it was 19%.
Sorry?
I believe in New York it was 19%.
What I was saying is that you're a liar. What I'm saying is that this line that you're giving me is a lie. What I'm saying is that we shouldn't listen to you anymore. At that moment, I think it's Sorkin. I believe that's the CNBC anchor's name. His last name at least is Sorkin. At that point is then when the next step comes. Thank you, Mr. Treasury Secretary. Get the fuck off the stage because we don't need to hear any more of your lies. Anything else you say here will ruin our credibility. And if anybody takes anything else that you say from this forum that we've just discovered you're lying at, why are we talking to you? This is supposed to be something productive. This is supposed to be informative, not full of lies. Step off to the stage to the left. The man with the black outfit on, that's the stagehand, will see your sorry ass off. When are we going to start kicking liars off of stages and off of platforms to stop lying to us? That would be rude. Instead, what they want you to do is listen to this same president surrounded by all these yes men and women say this type of shit.
It's a con job. I think affordability is the greatest con job. They look at you and they say, affordability. They don't say anything else. Everyone says, oh, their prices were so low. No, they had the worst inflation.
Hold on. I'm going to play that again. Look at Ted Cruz's sorry bitch ass. Look at him standing over Donald Trump's shoulder as Donald Trump talks about how affordability, the word that he never heard of before, is a con job.
It's a con job. I think affordability is the greatest con job. They look at you and they say, affordability. They don't say anything else. Everyone says, oh, their prices were so low. No.
What is he talking about? What does he mean? What is it that Ted Cruz is shaking his head at? They say affordability. Yeah. What are you nodding your head about? What is it you agree with? What's in your head outside of This is a family show. I'm not going to say all the things that I'd like to say about Ted Cruz, but I will remind you that Ted Cruz got his ass kicked by Donald Trump. And Ted Cruz said he's never going to support this guy. Ted Cruz said he's an outright liar. Ted Cruz's wife was called ugly, and the beans would be spilled on her by this guy that he's standing over and nodding his head over right before he kneels and kisses his ass. And he has to go home to his wife again. That'll, I guess, ask him, how was it? And he has to say, it was great. We talk shit about you a little bit more today. That's Ted Cruz. And those are the type of people that embolden and also help this guy out. But they're never right. They just kind of keep saying things. It would be embarrassing if people called them out enough and